is in effect. Return to your home immediately!
This is pointless. The war is over.
Irrelevant! Under the terms of the Martial Law Act, Section 12.J, those refusing to comply with a curfew order are to be pacified. Repeat, will you comply?
Will you comply?
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 Loop detected. Error. Error. Return your home to further instruction. Attention.
Ooh. Who would have thought that three little words put close together could produce such good results, such high quality levels of salt from the NPC journalists? You're probably wondering, where's Flatmeister been? I haven't uploaded in quite a while. I've been doing the Flat Pack show every Wednesdays, 11 PM GMT. That's 6 PM Eastern. I've been doing that every Wednesdays. I've just been. It's chronic pain. Plus, I've been sort of struggling with content. Like, I enjoy roasting game journalists, and I enjoy doing these articles, but I want to do more. Sort of finding a direction of where I want the channel to go. But we'll do these articles, right? So you had places like BuzzFeed, Huffington Post, Yahoo, was it Vice as well? Or under the Vice sort of umbrella, like, cause they own sort of several outlets, and they've had like a mass. It's like a genocide. It's been a purge. That's it. It's been a purge of the NPC journalists. They basically fired, like, I can't remember what the stat was, but it was quite a high number. Somewhere like getting rid of like 10 to 20% of their staff. Don't cite me on that. I don't know if that's an accurate percentage, but. So yeah, with the three little words that could produce so much salt is learn to code. Now I'm sure you've probably seen loads of videos or you've read articles about this, and you've probably seen it on Twitter as well. The apparently jobless journalists don't take kindly to when you turn things back on themselves, when you turn it back on them. Obviously, like, people, and it makes me laugh that the journalists still double down on this, right? They go, oh, this is a far right, this is Origins, this learn to code, it's a far right harassment campaign. Honestly, they're saying Twitter was even banning people for tweeting at journalists if you were to tweet learn to code. Now, for people not wondering what learn to code means, it was basically journalists were a few years ago were writing articles about laid off coal miners who learnt a new trade. They learned web development, web design. They learnt to code, and so obviously these journalists lost their job because people are sick and tired of their fake news peddling, their propaganda, their agenda pushing. People have wised up to the lies and editing of facts, or not even telling the truth at all. People have wised up. This isn't just game journalists. This is journalism in a whole, right? And this is what Gamergate has been striving for: is ethical journalism. Report the facts. Be impartial. You're not supposed to have any bias. You learn to code. But this article on One Angry Gamer, like Billy D's picked up loads of these tweets from these like bloggers. They're activists. These journalists are activists first and foremost. They don't care about being impartial or non-biased. You know, putting their biases aside. And we've seen it. They are prepared to tell lies to ruin people's lives. I mean, you've seen like that with they cite the Covington, the Catholic Covington, the MAGA hat, the guy, the teenage boy wearing a MAGA hat, and some Native American Indian guy, some Native American banging a drum right in his face, and how people, even like, they're all blue check mark, and Twitter did nothing about that, and people were inciting violence against a minor, wanting to dox him, but Twitter didn't do anything about that. You even had, and I use this term lightly, comedians like Kathy Griffin saying, "I want these boys named and shamed. Their lives should be ruined forever." I'm like, fucking. I mean, straight away, I was skeptical from the get-go. I'm like, what the hell? So I watched the full video. Because, you know, CNN, like, showing, even with an edited, you still can't say, oh, those boys were being disrespectful or harassing a vet, and that's a whole other thing, that with the vet, but I won't get into that. People have wised up to journalism as a whole and the lies they peddle. Yeah, apparently saying to a journalist learn to code is ban-worthy on Twitter. They cried so much, these journalists, they went to Twitter and said, "Oh, you need to ban these 3 words." I mean, there's this someone who resigned from the New Yorker, the Talia Levine, resigned from the New York for falsely accusing an ex-Marine of being a Nazi. See what I mean? Recently axed, one of the writers who was recently axed from Huffington Post wrote a lengthy piece that was published on the New Republic on the 1st of February, titled "The Fetid Right-Wing Origins of Learn to Code." And they bring in Gamergate, and seriously, how is Learn to Code a right-wing? Well, just because some people that happen to be right-leaning have used that, like, it's not. Yeah, like Billy D here says, the phrase actually comes from when the media was vigorously writing about companies setting up workshops to teach out-of-work miners in Kentucky how to code, as detailed in a report on 30th of January 2017 by Forbes. So it was a couple of years back, yeah. The phrase was recently adopted by anti-media denizens of the internet to express their disdain for propagandists who are fired. Exactly. It's disdain, it's contempt and resentment of... And it's mockery. And what's wrong with mockery? You can laugh and mock people. You dug your grave, now lay in it, journalists. So like this, Talia Levine is going, on its own, telling a laid-off journalist to learn to code is a profoundly annoying bit of advice. A nugget of condescension. Yeah, there's supposed to be some condescension there. And antipathy. It's also a line many of us have already heard from relatives who pretend to be well-meaning and who question an idealistic, unstable, and how the freaking hell are you supposed to spell it? Impecunious career choice. Yeah, it makes me laugh, that, but we've already heard it from relatives who pretend to be well-meaning. Oh, you work for BuzzFeed? Oh, I've heard that's clickbait trash. Honey, don't you think that you should get a job, you know, doing something worthwhile? No, I need to write articles about Dump the Trump, and the alt-right and Nazis in America. They're everywhere. What, you're telling me to get a new job, Mum? Dad, I fucking hate you. You suck. You're Nazis as well. You're alt-right. Yeah, writing an article. How my parents are Nazis, alt-right. Oh my god. My uncle told me to get... it's funny. Sort of seeing... But it was clear from the outset that this advice was larded through with real hostility, and the timing and ubiquity of the same phrase made me immediately suspect a brigade attack. Suspicions were confirmed when conservative figures like Tucker Carlson and Trump Jr. joined the pile-on, revealing the ways in which right-wing... I don't think I ever saw. Well, occasionally saw some people, atting, like tagging some people in tweets. Seriously, like, how would that be harassment? Saying, like, honestly, they're three really innocuous words. Learn to code. The pylon, revealing the ways in which right-wing hordes have harnessed social media to discredit and harass their opponents. Seeing as though social media is like extremely far left leaning, it's actually those social media actually silence right-wing people to discredit and harass their opponents. Well, yeah, surely if someone can discredit you because they have the evidence to discredit you because you're a stupid human being. So Talia goes on to lament how 4chan and Poll began mocking journalists within the confines of the image boards by encouraging others to tell journalists across social media to learn to code. Lavin then quotes Caroline Sinders, I've never heard who she is, from Harvard's Kennedy School, claiming Sinders received enormous volumes of harassment during Gamergate and has a nose for sporting brigades. No links or citations to this harassment, by the way. Yep, no links, no citations. Bringing up the South by Southwest panels that were supposed to talk about Gamergate. So apparently, like, there was the adult Mercedes Carrera was supposed to be on the Gamergate panel. She's like an adult film star. I think she's got a YouTube channel, and she's very pro Gamergate. I remember seeing her about you know what I mean. Sort of when Gamergate was about, I remember sort of seeing people on social media talking about it, or seeing links to her videos. Not her adult film videos. I think she's been on Lord Nurgle's Streams of Corruption a few times as well. And Mildred the Monk as well. She's been on one of his monastery live streams. And so anyway, yeah, she was supposed to be on a panel that actually goes through the details of how and why the panels got shut down. So yeah, there you go. Far left leaning media fabricated, misconstrued stories and lies, and so pretty much on Google and search engines. Here we go. Yeah, she explains why the panels got shut down, and pretty much explains why if you search up Gamergate and South by Southwest together on the search engines, you just get a bunch of Google results from left-wing media fabricating and misconstruing stories. Operation Disrespectful Nod, the name for Gamergate's brigading campaign. Thing is, the FBI has found that no evidence of harassment from Gamergate. Even where was it? Billy D put it in the article. I think it's called Women Action Media or something. It was a peer-reviewed thing, and they found no evidence of harassment. Talia Levine continues to smear games and Gamergate, writing, Gamergate used sympathetic journalists to add a patina of legitimacy to its cover narrative, a tactic that has been repeated with ongoing harassment campaign called Learn to Code. But as with ethics in journalism, or games journalism, the narrative was just a means to deflect attention from the ultimate goal of adding distress to a terrible week for journalists. Because, you have to resort to clickbait and this, that and the other, and who would have thought that, like, I hope this happens to Kotaku and Polygon, right? Who would have thought that attacking your own audience, costs you revenue? You can't resort to your clickbait articles. People have wised up. Like Billy D says, telling journalists to learn to code is just mocking the same journalists who devalued the medium through their own mendacious antics. I mean, even, he cites this with trust in the media, especially among independents and Republicans. 42% of independents still trust the media, but only 21% of Republicans trust the media, as polled by Gallup. Obviously, comes no surprise that 76% of Democrats on the left trust the media. given that most major outlets lean left, as evident with Levine's left-wing histrionics. Here it goes. Near the end of the piece, Levine writes, "I've chosen to write and speak about it, not to celebrate my own victimhood, I'm a victim, or to claim that a harassment campaign against journalists is the most significant issue being faced by any American. I write about it because it shares such overt DNA with harassment campaigns born in Gamergate and perfected since, and because it is a long past time that far-right trolls stopped being granted any presumption of innocence and plausible deniability. I chose to expose this campaign, knowing it would bring me nothing but grief, because I didn't want to see such a campaign succeed without opposition. And I wrote about it because campaigns against journalists aren't going to go away. The moment trolls like these see an opening, whether the provocation is real or imagined, they will harass journalists again." Here the author is clearly conflating expose with harass, pointing out a history of defamation, libel and misinformation from activists posing as journalists is not harassment. It's exposing corruption. Exactly, Billy. People have had enough of the lies and a lot of damage that these journalists can do on people. I mean, there's loads of other people, parroting the thing like this, the Dragon in Winter. We've seen this before. WikiLeaks did it, Trump and his supporters did it, Gamergate did it, Covington skeptics did it. Surely, it's good to be a skeptical person. Be skeptical of everything. Wait until you have all of the information before jumping to conclusions. But Covington skeptics did it, and now the Learn to Code folks are doing it. It's the same play from the same playbook, and so-called rational thinkers fall for it over and over and over again. Oh my god! Like, how can you label that a far right? Like, how is that a far right dog whistle? Like, Learn to Code is a linguistic dog whistle. There's someone saying, to the uninitiated, it makes absolutely no sense. To the target, it registers with perfect and cruel specificity. I think I said it right. And to the harasser, it comes with built-in plausible deniability. They keep saying that. Its origins are in an overblown and willfully misremembered spate of news stories about a man named Rusty Justice, and apparently that's a real name, teaching web development to out-of-work coal miners in Kentucky. This is harassment's new frontier. I think people are sophisticated enough to know that you can't just send death threats. I got one over on LinkedIn. Relatively stealthy harassment is the strategy of the future, and it has its origins in the recent past. Gamergate. Dun dun dun. I think Mildred the Monk actually tweeted, like, when this sort of story broke and stuff, and Mildred went, "Learn to mine coal." Or he tweeted something like that. It was, "You better learn to mine coal." Get to the coal mines. Honestly, Gamergate has just become like a dead horse for these journalists to beat. Like, oh, the boogeyman, let's bring him out. Poof, poof, poof. I mean, you've got, Tucker Carlson, you've got Ben Shapiro, all these sort of conservatives that are mocking liberal journalists with this Learn to Code meme, which is funny. Who takes BuzzFeed seriously? Like, it's just horse manure. Much like Levin's citation light piece, this other person also, Beery, also forgoes any citations about the death threats and anti-Semitism or the targeting of POCs and women. It's the listen and believe tactic. Oh dear. But, and obviously, that, like I said, as mentioned, there's plenty of evidence that Gamergate helped reinvigorate the fight for better ethics in media journalism, from putting together ethical policy campaigns to beseeching the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, to update its guidelines regarding disclosures, which I've done videos on that in the past about Polygon, Kotaku not disclosing affiliate links in their articles. And like only now are they doing that. I don't know why anyone visits their sites anymore. Like I really hope that their sites go next. Learn to code. This video has been demonetized. I'm not monetized. Oh dear. But it's such a funny meme. Like, cannot compute. Yeah, how can an NPC learn to code? Because they're made up of code. They're programmed with code. They can't rewrite code themselves because they're basic programmed NPCs. But who would have thought that how can they say this is an alt-right dog whistle campaign, harassment campaign? So yeah, this should be fun. A fun few more weeks of seeing journalists struggling for work. I mean, I know it's kind of cruel for me to laugh at someone losing their job. It's not nice losing your job. I've been screwed over in the past. Like once I was tricked into signing a contract I wasn't told about. Like I was already working at a hotel. It had a cafe attached to this hotel. It was part of the same building and part of the same company as well, but they ran their numbers on a separate system. And so I was working in this coffee shop, and then they weren't giving me the hours. So I was like, "Oh, can I do night reception hours at the hotel?" And they went, "Oh yeah, sure." So I was training, and they made me sign a 16-hour contract, even though I'd signed a contract for this coffee shop. But they didn't tell me that would override my other contract. They didn't tell me that. So I signed that 16 hours, and even then, I wasn't getting 16 hours a week. And like over the course of like sort of several months, I was getting 0 hours, literally no hours at all. I'm like going to check the rota, not wrote on for anything. I went, "Oh yeah, we haven't got enough hours." I'm like, I got fucking bills to pay. I got credit cards, and I got to pay rent to my parents. You know, this is back when I was living with my parents. You know, this happened years ago. I got to pay, rent, stuff like that to my parents. I've got holiday, don't I? Like, can I use that holiday before the end of the holiday? Yeah, I think it was coming up to sort of February, March. I said, "Can I use that holiday?" And they went, "Oh no, you can't." Well, I'm like, why not? I've got holiday days left, but you're not giving me any hours. Why not just pay me holiday then? And the manager, I remember her name was Victoria. She was a fucking cunt. Demonetized. Harassment campaign against Victoria. I can't remember her surname. No, I couldn't do that. Honestly, she was a cunt. She was... I've had my fair share of awful female bosses, but that's getting off to, getting off to a bad going off to a bad direction there. But yeah, that Victoria was a bitch. Yeah. This is the end of the video. Do all that like, share, subscribe, bell ticking BS that YouTube makes you do to make my content apparently relevant. Again, don't forget Flat Pack shows every Wednesdays, 11 PM GMT, 6 PM Eastern, with me, Switchpoint, Crumplepoint, and Nerdwaffle. Go back and check our last few episodes of the Flat Pack. We've had 2 special guests. We had Dean Kish, who's a writer of independent writer for his comic Tainted, which reached its Kickstarter goal. Really proud of him. Go check that out. Really cool comic. And we also had Angado from Sinopa Publishing. I swear I said that right. Angado. Yeah. So he's got a Kickstarter still going. It's called 47 Furious Tales. It's like it's anthropomorphic animals of the 47 Ronin. You know, the retelling of the Aiko incident. I think that's right. I have terrible memory sometimes. But yeah, check that out as well. I'm gonna be spamming it every day on Twitter with a link to his Kickstarter. I back it. You know, it's 12 issues. It's got these. It's all digital art, but it's done with the art style is sort of this like watercolors. Really cool art style. Really looking forward to the story, especially with it being told with anthropomorphic animals as well. So it's really visually striking comic, and that's a 12-issue one as well. But I really desperately need your support on the Kickstarter. So with that, I've been Flatmeister. I'll catch you in the next video. I know I keep saying this every time I upload a video. I promise to upload more videos, but yeah, I'm going to try and do more videos. Don't forget, check me out on Twitter as well. Every Mondays I do a stream collaboration with Rabbit Sensei Gaming. I'm going to do sort of more gameplay, more let's plays, things like that as well. So with that, I'm a Flatmeister. Catch you in the next video. Take it easy.